Hi friends, my name is Debbie Abel and today we're going to be painting this beautiful iris. This painting I found it on Google and I thought was super nice, beautiful colors. So I decided to take my own turn on this one. I'm going to be using 100% cotton paper, Paul Woman's watercolor set. And just to remind you, I don't paint realistic. This is just a picture to inspire me. So it's going to be something similar but not the exact same thing. So let's jump in and get started. So we're gonna start off by getting our flat brush first, and we're gonna make simple, really simple strokes. You're gonna get really light color of pink, and we're gonna wiggle the brush. If you don't have a flat brush, you can use whatever you have at home. You don't have to go shopping. Use whatever you have. In my case, I have flat brush, and for me this is one of the easiest way to paint this kind of flower. And I'm picking up pretty much whatever pink I have in my palette. I already have some mixed here. As you can see, my palette has all kinds of colors, so whatever I can get. Sometimes I use the pink. I have a little bit leftover gray, so I add that. I see a little bit of purple, so maybe I throw a little bit here and there, but we're gonna keep it really light. This is the first layer, so remember, watercolor, we start light and then we'll build up the colors, and we put more layers and more contrast, more details as we go. So for this one is the easiest. Just wiggle your brush as much as you can. The leaves are really kind of wiggly, like I would say, and we're gonna bring those petals to the center. All of the petals, they go to the center and then they get bigger as they go outside the flower. And for the other part, I'm just picking up some of my purple. If you don't have purple, just mix some of your pink with a little bit of ultramarine blue and you get a really nice purple. And when the petal is wet, you're gonna drop some of the pink, just bringing some highlights and contrast to the flower. Like I said, this is the first layer, so we're just adding few more colors into the mix just to bring those nice beautiful colors in your petals, but then we will be adding some more details. So I put the really light color of pink, then you're gonna take a little bit of purple, just add it to the side of your petals just to give some more detail to it. And then we're gonna get a really thin brush, and you're gonna get some of your purple, really light, lots of water, not too much pigment. And I decided to move it with my flat brush, picking up some of the color. The paper's still a little bit wet, not too much, so it's gonna whatever I put on is gonna blend. It's not gonna have hard lines. It's gonna move around. This is what watercolor does. It moves with the water, so it's gonna give you really beautiful texture. Sometimes I add the pink in some areas and I wiggle the brush. I don't keep straight lines. I try to wiggle, and then I add a little bit of my purple in some areas where I see more contrast. So this is what we're gonna be doing for all of the petals of this flower. And guys, don't forget to check out my Etsy store where I have all of my paintings, or most of my paintings that I do here on my YouTube channel. They're really affordable. I don't have crazy prices. And if you don't see something that you like, just let me know in the comments or send me a message and I can list it for you. Then also you can flip your brush and you're gonna make some lines with the back of your brush. In this case, this brush doesn't have like a big point, so I'm just doing it with the really thin brush, making those little marks on my flower, just bringing those details for the iris. They got a lot of wrinkles, and I'm just adding those tiny little strokes in here adding those details for your flower. This one's still wet, so I'm gonna add some more purple in some areas for more contrast, and then you can bring that light purple to some areas, just making those marks that represent this flower. And again, flip your brush. As you see, whenever you press on the paper, it's gonna leave beautiful marks, and they're gonna stay there permanent. So make sure when you are putting the pressure, you know where you want the lines, because they're gonna be there. So just go easy, don't rush, don't go fast, take your time. This type of flower has a lot of details, so we're just making it nice and easy. I'm adding some more purple to the edge of the flower. This is not the exact same flower as the one I painted, but this is the closest that I could find. I forgot to take a picture when I was painting this. So this is the closest, just an example to show you how irises look like. Then the center is going to be darker. So for this one, I got my pink. I added a little bit of my burnt sienna just to make it like a darker pink. And then I see it has this little guy here hanging in the middle, and this is just my orange. And then I'm adding some cadmium red just to give a little bit more detail to this area. Just few marks here and there, not too much, just to give some more definition. And then we're gonna be adding some purple to the center, give some more color in there. And then I'm picking up whatever leftover I have in my palette, the pink and a little bit of my purple, and I'm just wiggling the brush, making this shadow in the center. This is what I see the shadow, so that's what I'm putting right here. And then I'm adding some of my orange just to give that little extra something. Also doing some lifting, removing some of the paint for some highlights, and then you can add some more shadows in some areas. Just with the tip of the brush, put that purple in there. Wiggle your brush as you go. Remember, the petals, they don't have those straight lines. They're really wiggly. Just like you see in the picture, it has a lot of wiggle, and it's really wrinkled. So that's what we're trying to do when we wiggle our brush. We're gonna put this other petal here that goes in the bottom, and we're using the exact same colors, just the pink, lots of water, really light on the color. And I'm adding a little bit of my purple, whatever leftover I have here on my palette, wiggling this part. That's why I like flat brushes, because they are big, so they cover a lot of space. And when you wiggle it, it's just leave those beautiful marks. And then you can lift some of the paint, bring those highlights back to the petal, and then you can apply some more color in some areas wherever is needed. And you can apply more colors and more layers to the flower when it's wet. So you can add more pink, more purples. You can add maybe a little bit of blue, whatever color you feel like you want to add to your petal. The best time to do it is when it is wet, so it will blend and you won't have like hard lines. Now I'm doing the edge of this petal, and I'm just mixing some more paint here. And remember, when you apply, wiggle the brush. I'm using just the tip of the brush, bringing those lines into the petals, and applying some more purple just to make some more definition in this petal. and then some on the bottom. Just making some more mix, making a darker color just for a few tips of the petal, just to give some more shadow in some areas. We want to keep some of the highlights, and some areas we want to keep it darker. I'm adding some pink, and I put just a touch of my cadmium yellow, cadmium red, I'm sorry, and some of my amber. And I'm just adding some water, mixing this part here, and do some lifting, picking up some of the paint, bringing those highlights back into the petals, trying to blend this as much as possible. And now with the back of the brush, I'm gonna bring those lines into my petals. This is the easiest way to make your lines. With the back of your brush, if you don't have a pointy brush, you can use something sharp. Maybe you have an old credit card that you don't use. You can cut it and use that to press on the paper, and it's gonna leave these beautiful lines and marks. This side I put some cadmium red, and then I did a mix of my pink and some of my purple, just a touch of the purple to make it different than the first layer. Just a little bit different. We don't want it too dramatic. We just want just a touch different tone, but in the same family. And just bring in those lines. Sometimes I just add some more water, and sometimes I add paint. And this is pretty much intuition. Whatever you feel like you see darker lines, that's where you're gonna put your darker lines. And whenever there's a highlight, just add water to your brush. Do not add no more paint, and that's gonna give you a lighter value. Making those lines, remember to curve those lines. When your petal is curving, they don't go straight if there's a curve. Make sure you curve it, and they're gonna look more natural, more organic, and more realistic. Then I'm putting some of my purple with some pink, just few areas to give that contrast to my flower. And so is the other side. Now for this petal, we're gonna do the exact same thing. Just apply your pink, just a touch more concentrated, just to bring some darker colors into your petals. And like I said, this is just intuition, and the more you practice, the more confident and more comfortable you become where you want to put those places, where you want to put your darker colors, where you want to keep your highlights. So practice, practice, practice. That's the key. The more you practice, the better you get. And also I want to remind you, friends, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you give it a like. Every time you give it a like, it helps this channel and this community to grow bigger, so I can make more content like this one. Or you can leave me in the comments whatever you want me to paint. Maybe you want to learn something different. Just let me know, and I will try my best to paint that for you. I'm applying some more purple and just a touch of my pink. And my pink is my magenta. And for the purple, I just did magenta and my ultramarine blue. Bringing those lines into this petal. Remember to curve the same way your petal is going, so it looks more natural. Don't make no straight lines, because it is not gonna look new. It's not gonna look good. It will look a little bit odd. Then for this part here, I add a little bit of my it's called Pink Portrait. I believe it's Winsor and Newton. and I'm just adding some to the center flower, putting some more shadows with the purple, bringing those shadows back inside. And as you can see, I wiggle the brush. Whenever I do this, I wiggle the brush. I use the tip, then I put some pressure to make thicker lines. And if you feel that you add too much, clean your brush with clean water and then just lift some of the color and blend it. I added some more in this part here. Then I add in some of the pink portrait to the center of the flower. And the same color, I'm gonna bring it to the side of the petal. Just to give the little something that people would look at it and they're like, what is that? It looks nice. So you make them think. And just adding a few more wiggles here and there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, flowers are not perfect. They have different shapes, different sizes. So it doesn't matter if it goes a little bit off the outside. It's okay. You can always use crayons or markers if you want to make more definition on your petals. You can also use a black marker and then make it more like an illustration. You can use the acrylics or watercolor pencils just to add more texture to your flowers and more details. This one I'm just making it as simple as possible, so I did not use any mixed media, but you can if you want. This is your flower, this is your painting, you make it your own. You put your own touches. I'm just showing you how I will paint it, and then you can make it your own. Just adding some more water, trying to blend this part here. Just bringing the highlight back to the petal. And then just adding some of the purple on the edge. Putting some more pink portrait on the left hand side, some more on the bottom. And then we're just gonna add the stem. For the stem, just make a V shape, bringing those lines all the way up, touching your flower, and make sure you have different colors or different tones of greens. So you want to have light, medium, and dark. Then you can add a touch of your brown just to give that extra something. It just make everything looks better, more put together. And you can also bring the highlight back. Then for the leaves, just using the tip of the brush, and then I press on it, wiggle it, and bring it up. And now that it's wet, you can add more colors, more contrast if you want, or you can just keep it nice with the sap green. I decided to add some darker green. As you can see, I made a mess, but you can always clean it with a paper towel. Just wet it and then put the paper towel on top and pick up the extra color. We're gonna put in the other leaf, and again, just use the tip of the brush first and then press on it, make thicker lines, and make the really nice pointy leaf. And put in the darker shadow. And you can do this darker shadow whenever you want, just to add more contrast to your flowers. And then I added the bud. This is just whatever leftover I have on my palette. You can use red, so you can use just the pinks if you want. And then I think it needs some more leaves to bring that balance to the composition. And this is my sap green. I added some of the cadmium yellow to make it lighter and more lemony. Then I'm adding this darker one here, just to bring that composition some definition and some more contrast. And you can put as many leaves as you want or as little as you want. It doesn't have to be the exact same. You can add more details, you can take details out, whatever you feel like doing. And then just put in some more leaves in some areas. Maybe the stem for this little bud. Make sure you put your shadow green, add in some brown, some areas, just to make this area pop even more. Same with this part down here. And I like to add some of the brown. It just make your leaf look more natural. Somehow it's just make it work. And then just apply more of my darker green. And that one is just sap green and ultramarine blue. Making sure that your leaves, they have stems. They always connect to something. And then I'm just removing some of the areas that I don't like. Still wet, so it's gonna blend. It's not gonna have no crazy marks. I'm adding some more brown. Then for this part here, this kind of flower, it has like little, not thorns, but it's like little dots, or I'm not really sure how you will call this, but like little tiny dots. So I'm just applying this with my tiny little brush. And you can use a different color if you want. I just wanted to keep it nice and simple with the same color. Just adding those details to the flower. And like I said, you can add as much details as you want. For this part, you can use crayons. That will work really nice. Or you can use your watercolor markers or your watercolor pencils. And just bring in those tiny little details to the flower. Really simple, nothing crazy. I don't like crazy stuff. Complicated things are not for me. I try to paint as simple as possible, and I hope I explain everything the easiest way as possible. I'm just gonna add some more contrast. I feel that it needed some more extra something in here. So I'm adding some more color. It's the exact same color that I did before. It looks a little bit different because the flower now is completely dried. So it's gonna look darker. But remember, watercolor looks dark, but it dries lighter. Same for this side. Just bring in some more shadows in some areas. Use the tip of the brush and then press on your brush to get thicker strokes. And when you use just the tip, really nice and soft, that's when you get the really nice and thin lines. Bring in those lines back in here. Somehow they got lost a little bit. So I'm just bringing those lines back into the flower. And some more contrast in some areas for these two other petals of this flower. Just bringing some more contrast so they don't look like too faded. We want to make sure they pop. Even if they're in the background, we want to make sure they have enough contrast and highlights. If you feel that you put too much, just clean your brush with water and blend it. And just see what I do. I use the tip of the brush, press for more thicker lines, and then you can use a paper towel. If you put too much, just take off some of the extra paint. In this case, my brush was a little bit dirty with the green, so I'm just picking up that color. And then I'm blending some of this other color on top. Remember to make the lines the same way that the petal goes. Now for this part here, I just picking up some of my brown. This is the burnt umber. Just adding some of the burnt umber some areas, just for more contrast and just a touch to give this flower more personality. I think the brown just make this flower pop and make it brighter and like happier. So just put in some little marks. It doesn't have to be the whole flower. Just pick few places in the flower where you're gonna apply this brown. Just few places. It will go a long way, but it will make a big difference in your flower. Try brown next time you're painting your flowers, and you're gonna see the beautiful difference that it makes into your flowers. Applying some of the exact same color in the center, trying to blend this part. Just clean your brush with water and blend it. Then you can add some more color. And now it's gonna blend by itself because we put some water, so the watercolor is gonna move. And you can add as much as you want. You can make this really nice and dark. And of course, I love splatters, so I have to bring this into this painting. So we're gonna do some splatter in 3 areas, and pretty much we're done. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a like, and I will see you on my next one. Take care, friends. Bye bye for now.